I see all 14 members of the jury are present. The first thing I want to do while you get settled in and get your notebooks ready, make sure that we got the right notebook back to the right chair. But I want to apologize for our delay in getting started this morning. I will tell you that there was a legal matter that I needed to address outside of your presence, and we resolved some what might fall into the category of housekeeping things that I believe us taking care of that now will streamline or at least minimize some potential delays later on today and as we proceed forward. But what is the old saying? Something about a stitch in time saves nine or something like that. But the inconvenience now, I think, will be beneficial to us later. So with that said, we are ready to proceed. Mr. Sachs, you may call your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. So we'll call Investigator Scott Barefoot to the stand.
Sir, if you would please place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thanks.
You may proceed.
Thank you. Good morning, sir. Would you please introduce yourself to this jury, tell them who you are and what you do for a living?
I'm Investigator Barefoot. I work with the Wake County Sheriff's Office. I'm currently assigned to the Person Crimes Investigation Unit. I've been there for 4 years. I've worked with the Sheriff's Office for 18 years now.
Is that your entire time within law enforcement?
Yes, it is.
Back in January of 2013, were you still employed and have the same assignment as an investigator in the Person's Crime Unit?
Yes.
Did you have the occasion then to become involved in the homicide cases that occurred at 708 Colonial Drive here within Wake County back on January the 5th of 2013?
I did.
How did you become involved in this case?
I was assigned to be the lead investigator in this case.
Would you explain to this jury what you mean by being the lead investigator?
The lead investigator is assigned, is the person, the investigator initially permanently assigned to the case, and he is responsible for overseeing all interviews of either actively participating in or overseeing and reviewing, and as also evidence that's recovered, and make sure that all evidence is submitted.
And have you been involved in this case since that first day of January the 5th, 2013?
I have.
And I believe you've been here for the entire trial up to this point. Is that also correct?
That is correct.
Basically, did you respond to the scene then at 708 Colonial Drive back on that day of January the 5th, 2013? I
did.
Just like we have, and you've seen with everybody else, I'd ask you, first of all, just to tell this jury what you saw when you arrived at that scene.
The scene had been roped off, and I did observe shell casings on the front porch. My initial response was, at that time, was to do a canvass to help to assist to try to obtain witnesses that were may have observed anything, and we did interview the neighbors, did a good canvass. I did eventually do a walk through the residence, if that's what you're referring to.
Yes, sir.
The house was, the first thing I noticed was numerous gunshots had been fired inside the residence, leaving holes in the walls. I observed both the deceased, Jose and Maria, deceased inside the residence. Jose was observed on the couch, and Maria was found observed. I observed her laying in the kitchen on the kitchen floor, face down.
Pursuant to the investigation, you said that you noticed several bullet holes and casings in that residence. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Was your attention attracted specifically to one of the kinds of casings that you found in there?
Yes, we observed there was some .45 caliber shell casings that were recovered by CCBI that were noted as being similar as shell casings collected on a previous assault that occurred in a close proximity to this homicide.
How were they similar?
The shell casings had been ground off. The head stamps had been the names that identified the make and model of the shell casing had been ground off manually or by some type of etching tool.
Had you ever seen casings like that for these two particular cases?
No.
So upon seeing those casings, what did you all do?
We identified the people that we knew that were involved in the first it was actual shooting that occurred on Woodcrest and Meadowbrook.
And when did that occur?
It occurred December the 4th
Of which year?
of 2012.
So was that basically just almost exactly 1 month prior to the time of the homicide?
That is correct.
Upon researching that prior assault case, what did you all find?
We found that we did have a victim. Juan Hernandez was identified as a victim in that case, along with David Gonzalez and his sister. I believe it's
That's Celia Gonzalez?
Sia. Yeah, that's correct.
So upon finding out the names of those people, what did you all do?
We tried to locate them, and we were in the process of trying to locate them. And we actually had David contacted our office. David Gonzalez contacted us and said that he felt that he was the intended target at this residence at 708 Colonial Drive.
When did that happen?
That happened that night, from my recollection, the first interview. And
When you say that night, you're talking about the night of January the 5th, 2013, or was it the Wednesday of the 6th?
let's see. It was the 6th, January the 6th.
And you've indicated you were here for the trial. Were you here when Mr. Gonzalez testified before this jury?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And what he told this jury is that basically what he indicated to you back on January the 6th as well?
That is correct.
So upon getting that information from Mr. Gonzalez, what did you all do?
We were able to, we had developed some names through through that interview of possible people that were involved in this homicide on Colonial Drive. Pablo Reyes' name came up, and we then tried to determine where he was located so he could be interviewed. And we discovered that Pablo Reyes was currently in the Wake County Jail.
Were you able to determine whether or not Pablo Reyes was in the jail at the time of homicides on January the 5th, 2013?
We did determine he was in the jail during the time of the homicide.
And so that means that he could not have been at 708 Colonial Drive at the time of the murders, correct?
That is correct.
Upon discovering that, what did you all do?
We began to listen to phone calls that had been made by Pablo Reyes while he was incarcerated, and we determined that some of the phone calls had been made to a female known by Itzamar Gimby Estrada, which we felt that it was his girlfriend. And so we contacted her and began interviewing her.
Those jail phone calls, were those calls that were recorded?
They were.
Okay, so were you able to go back in time to listen to some of these conversations?
That is correct.
I'm going to ask some specific questions here, so please listen carefully, okay? So when you got, well, first of all, let's ask another things first. Were you able to talk with Itzamar Gimby Estrada?
Yes, I was.
And do you know, was Ms. Gimby Estrada, she's attempted to be subpoenaed to come to this trial and testify before this jury?
That is correct.
Did you, in fact, have that subpoena to try and serve her?
I did.
Okay. Were you able to find her, to bring her to court at this time so that she could testify before this jury?
No, I was not.
And did you find out where she, or generally where she was, or what happened to her?
Ms. Estrada was deported. I don't have the dates in front of me, but she was deported after being, after this homicide occurred and after she was interviewed.
So were you able to serve her without any kind of subpoena or to bring her here to court?
No, I was not.
Are you aware, prior to her being deported, of her testimony in a prior proceeding, a prior hearing in this particular case?
Yes,
And were you present when that testimony took place?
I was.
During that testimony, did she in fact confirm or verify that she was in fact the girlfriend of Pablo Reyes?
Object to the record.
Your objection,
Confrontation.
your objection's noted for the record and overruled. And, well, go ahead.
Did she confirm or verify during that testimony that she was in fact the girlfriend of Pablo Reyes?
She did confirm.
Okay. And did she also indicate during that testimony that they in fact had a child together?
She did.
And is that, okay. During that testimony, was she asked whether or not she knew, or that whether or not she had an AK-47 weapon in her place of residence on Water Oak Drive, located here in Raleigh?
Yes,
Okay. And did she indicate whose weapon that was?
she did.
Who did she say?
She said it was Moises Reyes.
Did she indicate when she got that weapon?
She said that, yes, she did.
When did she get it?
Pablo Reyes came to visit her residence New Year's Eve and brought the weapon with him.
Did she indicate then that she actually had that weapon since that time until it was found by you all during the execution of a search warrant in January of 2013?
She did.
Okay. And when you all conducted that search of her place, was that after the homicides on January the 5th?
It was.
Okay. Upon finding that weapon in Ms. Gambia Estrada's place, did that have any significance to you specifically as the lead investigator in this particular case?
It did.
How so?
It was the same type of weapon that we had determined was used during the homicide. The same type of round was used, and that was collected from the crime scene.
So did you all have that weapon that was found in Ms. Gambia Estrada's place sent to the lab for testing?
We did.
And what did you find out?
It was not the weapon that was used in the murders that occurred on Colonial Drive.
Upon finding that out, did you all go back and talk with Ms. Gambia Estrada?
We did.
During her prior testimony in the prior proceeding, did she indicate to the court whether or not she knew other people who would have weapons like this?
She did.
What kind of weapons was she asked about that she had seen?
She was asked if she knew of anyone that had the similar type of weapons, 45 or an AK-47 type weapon in their possession.
Okay. And did she testify as to some other people that she knew with these weapons?
She did.
Who did she identify?
She identified Jonathan Santillan and Israel Vasquez.
And again, during that prior testimony, did she indicate how she knew these two individuals?
Through Pablo Reyes.
Did she indicate during that testimony, again in the prior proceeding, whether or not she had actually seen Mr. Vasquez and Mr. Santillan with those weapons personally?
She did.
And had she seen them firing those particular weapons before?
She had.
Where did she say during that testimony she saw that?
At Jonathan and near Jonathan and Israel's residence.
And what were the weapons that she testified to that she had seen both Jonathan and Israel with?
45 caliber handgun and a AK-47.
How many 45 caliber handguns?
2.
Did she also testify during that prior proceeding whether or not she had seen Jonathan Santillan and Israel Vasquez on the night of December the 4th, 2012?
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Did she also testify during that prior proceeding whether or not she had seen Jonathan Santillan and Israel Vasquez on the night of December the 4th of 2012?
She did.
Where did she testify that she had seen them on that night?
She had testified that she saw them at Moises's mother's residence.
And again, who's Moises?
Moises Reyes, he's the brother of Pablo Reyes.
And I think he's also testified earlier in this trial, is that correct?
That is correct.
And were you present during that testimony?
I was.
And did she indicate during that testimony whether or not that was before or after 7 o'clock in the evening?
It was after 7 o'clock.
Did she indicate to you whether or not she saw Pablo Reyes, Moises Reyes, Jonathan Santillan, and Israel Vasquez leave together from that residence?
She did.
And what did she say?
She said that they were leaving to take them home. That's what she thought.
And did she say what vehicle they were in when they left the place where she was?
Nissan Titan pickup truck, white in color.
After that information from Ms. Genvi Estrada, what did you all do pursuant to the investigation?
We executed 2 search warrants on Jonathan and Israel's residence located on Montesina Drive,
And what were the addresses of those residents?
165 and 168.
And do you recall who lived in which one?
Jonathan lived at 168 Montesina Drive with his stepfather and mother, and Israel lived with his family at 165 Montesina Drive.
And when were those search warrants executed?
They were executed on the 15th of January
Of which year?
of 2013.
And pursuant to those search warrants, what did you all find?
We recovered 145 from the attic space and an AK-47 from the attic space at 165 Montesina Drive. That was later matched to the weapons used to commit these murders on Colonial Drive.
You may have recalled earlier when we had Sergeant Landmark here before this jury, did you all use the special response team for the sheriff's office to make entry in these places before conducting the searches?
That is correct.
And then did they identify for you all where every person at residence was located when they made entry?
They did.
Okay. Did they indicate to you all where the defendant was actually found when they made entry into the place?
Into the attic. He was located in the attic.
Okay. How about Mr. Vasquez, Israel Vasquez? Did they say where he was located?
He was standing on a chair inside the closet, from my memory, yes.
And is that the same place where the attic access was?
That is correct.
Upon finding the AK-47 and the .45 caliber handgun in that attic, did you all have those weapons then sent off to the lab for testing?
We did.
And again, first of all, remind the jury what you all discovered after testing the AK-47 that was found in the attic at 165 Montesina Drive.
We found that was the weapon that was used to commit the murders on Colonial Drive. That was one of the weapons used.
What about the .45 caliber handgun that was found on January the 15th from 165 Montesina Drive? What did you all find out?
We found out that weapon was used at the first shooting on Meadowbrook and I can't remember the
Woodcrest?
Woodcrest, yes. It was used in that assault.
What about?
It did not match the shell casings that were recovered from 708 Colonial.
Upon finding that out, then what did you all do?
We decided to request a second search warrant, to have a second search warrant issued for the residents of 165 Montesina Drive, due to the fact that it was there was a lot of places that weapons could have been hid that were not searched at the time.
Does that include spaces up in the attic?
That is, yes.
Okay. And do you know when this second search warrant was done?
January 22nd, 2013.
And were you present when that search warrant was executed?
I was.
And In fact, were you one of the ones up in the attic searching that place back on January 22nd of 2013?
I was.
During that search, the second time then, on January the 22nd, 2013, what did you all find?
We found a shotgun, a 12-gauge shotgun, and a 45 caliber handgun.
Were those
High
all,
point.
I'm sorry,
It was a high point.
and were those also discovered up in the attic space like the first weapons?
They were.
And the first weapons I'm talking about the week before from the first search warrant.
That's correct. Yes.
Upon finding this second 45 caliber handgun, did you all have those items sent to the lab for testing?
We did.
And upon doing that, what did you all find?
It was the 45 that was recovered on the second search warrant was the actual 45 that was used to commit the murders at 708 Colonial Drive, one of the weapons.
The scenes that we're talking about of 708 Colonial Drive and this intersection at Woodcrest and Meadowbrook, how far or close in proximity are they?
Approximately 2 to 3 blocks away from each other.
How about, you said that you were here earlier for the testimony of Mr. Gonzalez, is that correct?
That is correct.
Do you recall him talking about the residence they were at 868 Green Pine Drive?
Yes, I do.
And where is Green Pine Drive located with respect to these couple of scenes?
Green Pine Drive is located right beside Colonial Drive. I mean, you could actually walk to the Colonial Drive to the address where the Maria and Jose were living in just a few minutes. The Meadowbrook and Woodcrest intersection is a crossed. Green Pine goes into Old Stage Road, and across Old Stage you would find Woodcrest. It's not very far from each other.
If I showed you a Google map or one of the satellite photos of this area, could you use that to help explain and show the jury these locations and what you're talking about?
Yes, I could.
If I may,
It's on. We'll just need
warming up.
should be on by now. And you're on.
Thank you. Investigator Barefoot, do you recognize the Google website that I pulled up on the computer that's being projected on the screen
I do.
here?
I do.
It's a general search engine that most people are familiar with, correct?
Yes, it is.
And are you aware that the Google search engine has a feature called Maps that we can pull up?
Yes, I do.
Let that load for a minute. Put in 708 Colonial Drive, which is popping up here. First of all, as the website pulls up, it gives you that quick street view over here you see with the hand here. Do you recognize that as the residence that you were at during the early morning hours of January the 5th, 2013?
I do.
Okay. What we're going to do is let's put this on the satellite view. As you can see, what the website has done is it's placed this red marker on the address that is listed as 708 Colonial Drive. Do you recognize that as being the actual residence that you were at back in January of 2013?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And so Colonial Drive here, what are the roads or the main road that Colonial Drive connects to?
Colonial Drive connects to Woodland Drive
Is that down here then?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And Old Stage Road.
Old Stage Road being here to the left of it?
That is correct.
Old Stage Road. Okay. So where the arrow is now, would that be the intersection of Old Stage Road and Colonial Drive?
That is correct.
So again, where is Green Pine Drive?
Green Pine Drive, it's like shaped in a like a horseshoe pattern, actually.
This right here,
Yes.
where it says Green Pine Drive?
It actually connects over to the next street as well.
Okay, so is that this horseshoe that you're talking about here?
Yes,
So Green Pine Drive actually comes out twice onto Old Stage Road?
that is correct.
How about Woodcrest? Where's Woodcrest?
It's the next street headed towards 401 on the left, I believe.
So
Yes,
it's listed right here, East Woodcrest Drive?
that is correct.
And it looks like it ends here. Is this Meadowbrook?
It is.
Sure enough, down here, the website says this is Meadowbrook, correct?
That is correct.
All right, so the intersection of Woodcrest and Meadowbrook would be right here where the arrow is?
That is correct.
Now, the search, so these three places are all, like you said, within a couple blocks of each other, correct?
That is correct.
And Colonial Drive, certainly Old Stage Road is one road it feeds off of, and to the right, I guess the other main road you would eventually hit would be Timber Drive, is that correct?
That is correct.
Which is here. And all of this is south of Raleigh?
Yes, it is.
How about the location of 165 Montesino? Where is that located?
It is located off of 1010 Road, not far from Old Stage Road. It's closer to Highway 50.
And our street view has kind of popped up with some of these houses. Does that look familiar?
It does.
Okay. Let's broaden this out. Again, the website has identified a place here as 165 Montesino. Do you see that?
I do.
Okay. Montesino Drive, is that a cul-de-sac street?
It is.
Let's broaden that out a little bit. So the road that Montesino Drive ends in down here is listed as 1010 Road. Is that correct?
That is correct.
How far away is Montesino Drive from our both crime locations of 708 Colonial Drive and the intersection of Woodcrest and Meadowbrook?
I would say it would take approximately 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes to drive to that location. In miles, I'm not certain.
And just to maybe broaden out, give us a better idea of the general location of town that we're talking about. Is this also going to be south of Raleigh?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And here's Highway 50 that you were talking about earlier. Is that correct? The main
That
road
is,
here?
yes, that is correct.
Okay. Thank you, sir. That's good, Your Honor. That's all. Upon or after completing your searches of 168 and 165 Montesino Drive, were you involved in the collection and packaging and storage of the evidence or items seized from those locations?
I was.
And is that part of the role of a lead investigator in this particular case?
It is.
Okay. If I may approach, Your Honor?
Yes, you may.
show you, sir, what's been previously marked by identification as State's Exhibit number 8. You see that red sticker with the 8 on it?
I do.
Ask you to look at that and see if you can tell us what that is.
It's a backpack that was recovered from the attic space located at 165 Montesina Drive.
Okay. And was that the same location where those weapons had been found?
It is.
All right. And what did you all discover inside this backpack?
Ammunition.
As part of the storage or packaging process, did you all actually lock this backpack down?
It was locked, yes.
And how do you do that?
A zip tie was used to keep the zippers from being opened.
The ammunition that you found in that backpack, did you keep it and store it inside of that backpack as you all found it?
We did.
Okay. And as you look at that, at State's Exhibit number 8 now, is it still zip tied and locked?
It is.
Okay. And as you feel the backpack, does it appear to have some weight to it?
It does.
Okay. If you would then go ahead and I think there might be some scissors there on the desk with you, or they've been moved. Thank you. If you would, sir, please go ahead and cut those zip ties and let's open up so they can communicate. What do you find inside?
Magtech box of ammunition.
Which caliber?
Appears to be a 45 auto.
Anything else?
That's in the front compartment.
Okay. How many compartments are there in this backpack?
There's 2.
All right. How about the main compartment then?
And the front one appears to be empty, except for, yeah, it's completely empty.
What is completely empty?
The box containing that was supposed to contain the ammunition for the 45 auto is an empty box, nothing inside.
And is that as you all found it?
Yes.
What do you find in the main compartment?
The main compartment is a bag, an Aldi bag, tan in color, plastic.
All of that grocery store chain?
It is.
What is inside of the Aldi grocery bag?
We have some remnants of insulation that was found up in the attic. That's what it appears to be.
What else?
Federal 25 shotgun shells, three boxes of shotgun shells.
Which gauge shotgun shells?
12 gauge, 3 boxes. And
You
they,
indicated earlier that during your second search warrant on the 22nd of January 2013 that you did find a shotgun up in that attic, is that correct?
that's correct.
And which gauge was that shotgun?
12 gauge.
What else is in that bag?
2 boxes of 38, appears to be 38 round, 38 Smith & Wesson cartridges, 38 for 38 caliber handgun.
Okay.
One appears to be full, and the other one's appears to be halfway empty with ammunition.
Are you aware, was there any .38 caliber weapon that was recovered in this particular case?
No, there was no 30. There was not a 38 caliber handgun collected.
Anything else inside that bag?
Yes, there are 4 rounds, loose rounds.
They're just 4 loose rounds or cartridges?
They are 4 loose rounds, and I'm trying to make out the head stamp on them. Appears to be a 38 rounds as well.
All 4 of them?
It does, yes.
Do they appear to be the same brand or size as the ones that are in the box that you had indicated there?
They do not.
Anything else inside that plastic bag?
That is it.
All right. Please put all those back. As you look at all of those items, from the backpack to the empty box in the front pocket, to the bag, to all these boxes of ammunition and the loose rounds that are inside this bag, is that as you found all of these items back in January 7th, 2013?
Yes, it is.
And do all of those items appear to be in the same condition as when you all found these back on January 15th of 2013 at 165 Montesino Drive?
Yes, they do.
Any objections, Mr. Cutler? No. States 8 is admitted, and all the contents therein.
There's a magazine as well located inside the bottom of the bag.
Okay, I'm sorry, where was that located?
It was located, I'm sorry, in the bottom of the book bag.
Okay, outside of the plastic bag?
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
Do you know what kind of weapon that magazine would fit?
An AK-47 type weapon, assault rifle.
Is the magazine itself loaded with ammunition?
Yes, it is, but it's not loaded now. It's an empty magazine.
Okay, that's what I was asking, I'm sorry. All right. And does it also appear to be in the same condition as when you saw it back on January the 15th of 2013?
That is correct.
All right. Is there anything else in there besides then the empty cartridge box, the bag with all the assorted ammunition, and the empty magazine?
Appears to be a paper of some sort. A note.
Okay. Again, is that as you found it back in January of 2013?
That is, yes, it is.
Okay. And have you, I don't know, damaged, altered, edited, or done anything to that letter since you all collected it back in January of 2013?
No, I have not.
Is it also in the same condition?
Yes.
Anything else?
No.
Yes, you may.
I approach you.
Yes, sir.
We'll switch. I'll take state exhibit number 8 from you. And I will hand you what's been previously marked by identification as state exhibits 9, 10, and 11. You see those red stickers with those numbers on them?
I do.
You recognize those items?
I do.
Let's deal first with state exhibit number 9. What is that?
That's ammunition collected from the residence located at 165 Montesina Drive.
Was this, or were these items or ammunition, were they all collected in that attic space at 165 Montesina Drive?
Yes, they were.
Were you all the ones who packaged that item to bring to court at a later time?
Yes, we were.
How about state exhibit number 10? What is that?
It's ammunition as well. It's MagTech. Appears to be 45 rounds. 45 ammunition.
Does that brand and caliber, is that the same brand and caliber that you saw the empty box of in the front of that backpack that was state exhibit number 8?
That's correct.
Is this does it feel, it's in a sealed bag right
It
now,
is.
that correct?
It is in a sealed bag. It feels like it's full, like it's not empty.
Again, is that as you all found this item back in January of 2013?
Yes.
And how about state exhibit number 11?
It is a magazine for appears to be a 45 caliber magazine, and it's loaded.
And where was this item found?
It was also found in the attic space
Okay.
at 165 Montesina Drive.
Okay. Is that in a sealed bag right now as well?
It is.
But is it in a plastic bag that you can see through?
It is.
Do all of these items, state exhibits 9, 10, and 11, do they all appear to be in the same condition as when you found it back on January the 15th of 2013?
It does.
Okay. Your Honor, move then to introduce state exhibits 9, 10, and 11 into evidence.
Any objection, Mr. Cutler?
No.
They're all received, 9, 10, and 11.
Investigator Barefoot, directing your attention to the magazine that's listed as state exhibit number 11. What kind of weapon would that magazine fit?
A 45 caliber handgun.
And I believe that you indicated that it was that magazine, state number 11, is actually loaded right now. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Can you see the top round through the plastic bag in that magazine?
Yes, I can.
Is there anything distinctive about the back, the head stamp on that particular round?
They have been. The head stamp has been scraped where you cannot read the make of the bullet.
Going back to the bag of loose ammunition that's state exhibit number 9. What kind of ammunition was found that you all collected here?
It's a mixture of ammunition, and it's loose. It's not in a box or anything. And
Well, can you see through the plastic bags for some of these rounds?
I can.
And either through that or just from prior experience, can you tell basically what kinds of ammunition are in state exhibit number 9?
Appears to be for a 38 caliber handgun.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that all of them are 38?
Yes. It appears all of these are 38 rounds.
Okay. Were these just loose in the attic, or were they in some kind of container?
They were in a plastic bag, which they're still in.
Okay. January the 15th. First of all, may I approach Your Honor?
Yes, sir, you
Those
may.
items. At the time of the first search warrant on January the 15th of 2013, were both Mr. Vasquez and Mr. Santillan found inside that residence?
At 165 Montesina Drive, they were.
Okay. Were they taken into custody on that date at that time?
They were.
After having them taken into custody, what did you all do?
We proceeded to interview, or tried to attempt to interview them.
Did you attempt to interview the defendant, Mr. Santillan?
Yes, we did.
Were you present for that?
I was.
First of all, were his rights read to him?
They were.
Do you know how old Mr. Santillan was back on January the 15th of 2013?
I believe he was 15.
Do you know his date of birth? Have his date of birth recorded?
I believe it is.
Okay.
Let's see. I do not have his date of birth in front of me.
How about Israel Vasquez? Did you know how old he was back on January the 15th of 2013?
I believe he was 16 at the time, I believe.
Did you know his date of birth?
No.
Okay. You have a copy of your report on the stand, is that correct?
I have copies of the interviews, but not the entire report.
Okay. Do you have the first cover sheet for the investigation?
I do not.
Okay. I may approach you.
Yes, sir, you may.
Do you recognize what I'm showing you as kind of the cover sheets of the supplemental reports that your agency provides?
That is correct. Yes, it is.
Does it have the biographical information for Mr. Santillan on there?
It does.
Does that help refresh their memory as to what Mr. Santillan's date of birth is?
It does.
And what did you all either have recorded or told by him as his date of birth?
Being March the 30th, 1997.
Okay. So, as you had said before, would that make him 15 years of age in January of 2013?
Yes.
And that would also mean he was about 2 months, 2 and some odd months shy of his 16th birthday?
That is correct.
I may approach again, Your Honor.
Yes, you may.
Looking at that same report, do you see the same biographical kind of setup for Mr. Vasquez?
I do.
Okay. And again, did you all record his date of birth or be told by him what his actual date of birth was?
Yes.
And what did you all have recorded?
January 4th, 1997.
And so how old would he have been on January the 15th of 2013?
He would have been 15 or 14? 14 at the time.
Okay, let's try the math again. January the 4th, 1997 to
Right.
January the 15th of 2013.
I'm not sure. I'll have to do them.
That's fine. Do you know, was he older or younger than Mr. Santillan?
I believe he was older than Mr. Santillan.
Okay.
He was 16 at the time.
Okay. And in fact, on which day did he turn 16
January the 4th.
of 2013?
That's correct.
So that would have been the day right before
The murders were
happened
committed.
at
That is
Samuel
correct.
Flores Mendoza?
Yes.
So, you indicated that you were involved in these, the interview with the defendant here, Mr. Santillan, is that correct?
Yes,
Where does this interview take place?
at the Wake County Sheriff's Office.
And is this on the January the 15th of 2013?
That is correct.
Does it actually go long and go late, so it's past midnight going into the next day of January the 16th of 2013?
That is correct.
And do you all have any kind of recording device or anything where the interviews where you interview people involved in cases can be recorded?
We do.
How does that work?
An interview is recorded and can be retrieved. It's stored in our computers, maintain that interview forever.
And did you obtain the recording of the interview that you had with Mr. Santillan?
Yes, I did.
How long does that recording go for?
Approximately around 8 hours.
Okay. Now, was Mr. Santillan talking to you all for all 8 of those hours?
No, he was not.
Okay. So, as he is in the room, is the camera just running continuously the whole time that you have him in that room?
It does.
I believe the recording, and we'll get there in a moment, when it starts, Mr. Santillan is already in the room, is that correct?
That is correct.
So how do you all know when to turn on the recording equipment?
We generally, I think if it was already running when he was, if he was already in the room, we generally try to get him to turn the equipment on before we enter the room. So you see a beginning, but I think there was a large amount of people that were brought to the sheriff's office from that residence at 165 Montesino Drive. And so we were having to go ahead and we didn't have enough room for everybody. So we went ahead and started we had him in the room and then started the camera.
So even though we may see him already in the room at the beginning of the recording, was he there for a very long time before the recording device was turned on?
No.
Out of the time, out of those 8 hours that the recording runs for, about how long is he actually talking to you all or with someone talking about this particular case?
Approximately 5 hours.
And were you there and present for all 5 of those hours when he was making statements about this particular case or his situation?
Yes, I may have left and came back in the room at some point, but I was there for the duration of his interview, yes.
And have you had the occasion to review that interview before coming to court?
Yes.
And the recording that you saw, does it appear to be a complete and accurate recording of that interview that you recall having or being involved with the defendant, Mr. Santillan?
Yes.
Just generally, before we get there, as a general matter, what did you all ask of Mr. Santillan, and what did he tell you?
We were trying to...
Any statements? Fifth and Sixth Amendment, Constitution, based on previous.
Your objections are noted for the record and overruled.
General, sir, what did Mr. Santillan tell you?
At first, throughout the whole interview, an overlooking the whole, a summation of the whole interview would be, he at first did not have any knowledge of who Moises was or any relationships with any of the people that we believe that were involved in the homicides. He put the possession of the weapons that he was found in possession of in the attic, found in the attic space. He said that his landlord had him place those items up in the attic space.
And who's the landlord?
Mario.
Is that Mario Urbina Gomez?
Yes, Mr. Gomez he was here earlier, testified.
And you were here when he testified?
I was.
Okay. What else did he say?
He later he denied being at Colonial Drive. Later admitted that he was at Colonial Drive during the time of not Colonial Drive. I'm sorry. He admitted to being at Woodcrest and Meadowbrook during the first initial assault that occurred on December the 4th, 2012. but he denied shooting anyone, and he denied being at Colonial Drive.
And who were you conducting this interview with?
Myself and Sergeant Drema.
Okay, who is Sergeant Jarima?
She is a sergeant with the Wake County Sheriff's Office.
Okay. After having this interview with him, with Sergeant Jarima, what happened at that point?
At one point he let me refer back.
Yes, sir.
He indicated that he was trying to negotiate a deal with the DA's office before speaking with us, and so we kind of were trying to get him to talk with us, and he wanted a deal of some sort with the DA's office for cooperation, or he wanted a deal of some sort before he spoke.
Are y'all able to do that?
No, we are not.
Okay. Did y'all advise him of that?
We did.
So what happened?
We kept trying to engage him to talk without a deal, and he eventually agreed to start speaking with us.
Is that when he gave the statements that you've already talked about?
Right, that is correct.
Okay. After he finished those statements, what happened? Let me ask this. After making those statements, did you and Sergeant Jarima leave to go check out some other information that he was giving you all?
We did leave the interview room. Yes.
After leaving him for a short period of time, did you all come back in to try and re-engage him in some conversation?
We did.
Okay. At that time, did you all confront him with various information, trying to get him or to see how he would respond to that information?
We did.
Okay. What happened when y'all confronted him with that information?
He advised he didn't want to speak with us anymore.
Okay. So what did you all do at that point?
We left the interview room, concluded the interview, and left the interview room.
What happens after that?
Jonathan initiated contact with us again by banging on the door and asking to speak with us again.
So that's just shortly after you and Sergeant Jarima left the room?
A few minutes later, yes.
Okay. When he did that, what did you all do?
We advised him that we couldn't speak with him without him being read his rights again, and him knowing that he is reinitiating contact with us.
Did he do that?
He did.
Okay. This time, are you still with Sergeant Jarima?
No, I was with Chief Johnson
Okay.
with the Wake County Sheriff's Office.
So as you and Chief Johnson came back and reread the rights, did he waive those rights?
He did.
And what happened then when y'all started talking to him this second time, or third time, I guess I should say?
Jonathan, just trying to remember the.
Okay.
Jonathan advised during the interview, he advised us that Moises came to him and had him gave him the guns to hold on to, and advised that the guns had been used, and gave him details as what occurred inside the residence at 708 Colonial Drive, and he tried to assist us by Jonathan tried to assist us by providing a sketch of what he was told by Moises that occurred at the residence and how entry was made into the residence.
So when you were interviewing him with Chief Johnson, did Mr. Santillan ever admit or tell you all that he was actually at that scene at 708 Colonial Drive for these homicides?
No.
Okay. Did he indicate to you who he believed or knew was there, was responsible for these homicides?
He did.
And who did he indicate?
Moises Reyes.
Okay. And did he say how did he know this information?
Moises told him.
Okay. And you indicated that you started talking about some detail. All that detail you got, where did he indicate he learned all that information from?
From Moises Reyes.
Okay. Now you indicated that he also made some type of sketch for you. Is that correct?
Yes, he did.
What kind of sketch did he make for you?
He was asked if he could provide a picture of what he was told, a picture of to describe what he was told of the crime scene. Of the crime scene.
All right. Was he able to do that?
He was.
That's the evidence.
Overall, it's my understanding that you're going to come back to all this
Absolutely.
eventually.
In fact, that's what I'm getting into right now.
Overall.
And how did you have him do this sketch?
He was provided a pen and a legal pad, and was asked to draw what he saw, or what he was told.
And did he do that in your presence?
He did.
After drawing that sketch for you all, did you examine it?
I did.
What did you note about the sketch?
The sketch, Jonathan indicated, well, the sketch was remarkably like the crime scene as far as the layout of the residence. It was like an...
You know, I'd object that his opinion as to what the sketch looked like versus the question back to the jury.
Overall.
Go ahead, sir.
The layout of the residence was remarkably similar to that of the residence at 708 Colonial Drive. There was a door that wasn't there. There was one door, back door, he said was there. That was the only difference that I could tell.
Did he indicate to you where he got this information to complete that sketch?
Moises Reyes provided him with that information.
And did he indicate to you whether or not he was basing it off of another similar residence that he was familiar with?
Oh yes, he did. He said that it was based off the layout of the house that he was drawing was his grandparents' residence.
And where's his grandparents' residence?
165 Montesina Drive.
Okay. And have you been inside that residence at 165 Montesina Drive?
Yes.
Okay. And did the sketch that he prepared, was that the same layout or floor plan of 165 Montesina Drive?
It is not.
If I may approach, Your Honor?
You may.
Sir, let me hand you what's been marked by identification here as State's Exhibit number 87. Do you see the red sticker with the 87 on it?
I do.
You know what that is?
Yes, I do.
What is that?
It is a drawing that was provided by Jonathan Santillan.
Is that the sketch that you've just been talking about that he drew for you during his interview back on January the 15th of 2013?
That is correct.
I guess by the time the sketch was actually done, are we past midnight? So are we on January the 16th of 2013?
I would say yes.
Okay. Does that and is that sketch, that whole notepad, is that in a sealed plastic bag right now?
It is.
And did you all put that in the evidence bag to store for later use at trial?
We did.
And can you see that through that bag to see the sketch?
I can.
As you look at it now, does that appear to be the sketch that you've just testified about?
It is.
Does it appear to be in the same condition as when you last saw it back in January of 2013?
It does.
Did something happen to the sketch as you all were ending this interview with Mr. Santillan back then in January of 2013?
Yes. We decided to end the interview and to leave the room, myself and Chief Johnson. And as we were exiting removing our items from the table where the interview was being conducted at, Jonathan tried to grab the notepad away from me and take it from my hand.
Was it actually in your possession, in your hands when that happened?
It was.
So what did you all do?
Well, I forcibly removed him from his hands from the notepad. We just pulled it away from him.
And did you all leave the room at that time?
We did.
So does that sketch, did that action cause the sketch to be ruined in any kind of way?
It is wrinkled, but not ruined. Yeah.
Okay. So does it appear to be in the same condition then today as it was back in January of 2013, that being State's Exhibit 87?
It does.
Okay. Your Honor, move then to introduce State's Exhibit 87 into evidence.
Any objections other than those previously stated?
I object based on grounds previously stated.
Your objections are all noted for the record and overruled, and I'll receive State's 87.
So you indicated that this, this interview was recorded, is that correct?
Yes,
And have you had a chance to review that recording?
I have.
May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
Show you what I have marked here as State Exhibit number 3. Do you see that red sticker with the 3 on it?
I do.
Do you know what that is?
Yes, I do.
What is that?
This contains the interview conducted with Jonathan Santillan.
And do you know, were you the one that actually burned that copy or that recording for use for court purposes?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And as you reviewed that that recording, does it contain the entire recording that the sheriff's office has recorded regarding this interview back in January of 2013 with the defendant?
Yes, it is.
It hasn't been altered, deleted, changed, photoshopped, anything like that from when you were there and conducting this interview back in January of 2013?
No, it has not.
Thank you, sir. I'd move then to introduce Exhibit number 3 into evidence.
Any objections other than those previously stated?
No, Your Honor, same objection.
Very well, the objections are all noted for the record and overruled.
Your Honor,
This is a good time for us to take a break.
that's what I was going to say.
Before we start that, members of the jury, it's 11:15. I'm going to release you until 11:30. Please remember not to talk about this case among yourselves or allow anyone to talk about it in your presence. Don't form any opinions about anything that you've heard, and don't conduct any research or investigation. I'm going to ask everyone to remain seated while the jury is excused until 11:30.